Chipset C carry every man's wish on board. Many trades now slipping there into the profit horizon. People with their stops in profit. Other people looking for new trades. TUP yep. Come back to the 86. Our forecast here was correct. Drop from 460 down. We've made it to an 86 retracement. And this trade is potentially on now, looking for bottom informations on TUP yep. That says failure, but it's an incredible success, that forecast. So good that you can nearly hardly even see it hidden behind how perfect price action was. So here we have this 2-hour time frame where you might be looking for it to put in a bottom information here, or another test lower with another touch of bullish divergence. Slightly higher time frames, 4-hour trend line test, top side of the bearish control zone. We'll see how price action evolves there, but a potential trade coming up. I'd wait till it turns bullish to take the trade potentially, but you can see that might evolve. Recover the 50 simple, start moving back up again. Might be looking at recoveries. 236 testing the back side of the previous golden pocket. Golden pocket here coming up towards 236 and the drop down point around 460. Start turning around, putting in properly good formations. It could see something, though the specific trade hasn't yet distinguished itself. Let's put it like that. Shrouded in darkness to light like my soul. Yes, darkness everywhere. Oh my goodness, maybe I should have gone for the extra lights. So we're going to have a look at more of these sort of things. Also going to check in with SPY 404. 15-minute time frame. Good push towards close there. Towards 404, which turns on again. That's the trade spotting line. We were correct. Good work, us. Bitcoin, take a look at it. Holding 23. Good to see there. Go to the futures chart. We expect a recovery then, having held back above the equivalent support and resistance on the futures here at 22.8. That's very positive. Perhaps even more positive than spot. And we can see that the next target then, 25. Rocket Crop Flash, come back, fill the gap, test 29. That's Rocky and I talking earlier on today. So potentially moves on Bitcoin. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that could happen. But that's something to look to. GameStop, post-market, just back under 20 bucks. Testing that 200 period moving average day in a 1-hour time frame. Hold that, push back above the 50 simple, very bullish. Break black below these horizontals into this area. You'd be wanting a strong reaction at the basis line of this downward sloping channel, and then recovery of the 200, and you'll head towards 25. GameStop heading towards 25 wouldn't be all that crazy. Look at the open interest here for tomorrow's close. Those outstanding derivative contracts suggest that $25 is where a lot of interest is. Obviously, max pain 20, where we are at the minute. So I'd imagine that would be a likely range. 20 to 25 if the overall market does push to the top side and persist in this bullish attitude, which would be SPY pushing towards the previous high here at 408. That'll be very important. Break above there. The next target is 416. Fill that gap at 418, and then there's another at 423. So them also close, and none of them distinguished by being a high in that particular oscillation. I'd look to 428. So it goes 408 tomorrow. Push towards those levels, very good. Then you're looking for 416 and then 428. That's what you'd be thinking on SPY. If it does get there, you know, compare and contrast in between the charts, you potentially be on for continuation of this crab. A crab with this volatility and character might take you to the top possible targets. Support and resistance suggests another test of 35. And if you get the full move off it, it could even push towards 40 or 43. So that would be where GME would be going if SPY starts breaking to the top side. I don't think that's indicative of long-term trends, but I think that one of the things you could point to on SPY, if you were looking at it, say, for example, on a 2-day time frame here, this is clearly lower right, than this previous high in around here, right, on the start of December. This peak, it was lower than here on August, midway through August. So that's lower high, and this low here at 23rd December, which we subsequently pulled back up from, clearly higher than the previous low, which came in around October. So, you know, the last time you had definitive confirmation of trend was then in August and October last year. Since then, money has very much been on a balanced flow. Price action hasn't yet broken the trend. So we'll see how things change as and when support and resistance is broken, especially on these long-term time frames like weekly there. 50 simple, very important. Get above that. I'd say that would trump the downward sloping resistance that we would see on this formation. That downward sloping resistance line that we can see, this diagonal catching all these previous peaks. Much more important would be that 50 simple period moving average. And then if we were to be on the monthly time frame, this touch of the 50 simple would suggest that if price action manages to recover halfway above this formation, then the question is it going to go back and test the ultimate high back up around 460, 470? And a good area to midway would be this wick where the price action didn't persist at these levels for the month. It was constituted a rejection when we looked at it in retrospect, and as such that point at 428 is a very strong inflection point. So then you go back down through all the time frames, and in particular at the 4 hour, you can see that's where we're headed anyway, if in context of this price action here and this formation, which would suggest then that not necessarily the volume, which again testing the average, not particularly indicative of anything in special. It might suggest then you would be some value in looking at the average volume that price has been throughout this formation, which is where we are right now at 402 and have recently held. So that's when you put all of these charts together and analyze all the different time frames, especially those with, you know, the amplitude complements, then you get a good picture of what might be happening, and especially looking at the open interest. So things, if we consider them to all aspects of price to be a test, then the clearest area to test next might be to the top side. If we look at SPY, you can see that 404, where we're looking at terms of close, that's today, tomorrow, 410, right? That'd be pushing back towards the 408 level. Max Pain down at 397. And the idea of support slipping below 390, like that would be interesting, because when you're on SPY, you see our most recent tests. On 4 hour time frame here at the lows, you came up higher low in at around 388. No, so 375, 368, 395. And this level of resistance beyond these areas here. So if we were going that direction, we'd have broken significant support and resistance, and throughout the week we've held it. So that's very positive. And as such, you know, you're kind of passing that test, and the next test might be then at the top side. So take the drawings back on, we can see where Tradespotting's line coming at, intermittent. You know, 408 is obviously important. 420, there's a gap. These are the next areas you'd be testing back to the top side. You know, this prior high in at around 416, 418, gap close, 430, 428 highs. And that's why, you know, we're aiming there. We think those would be the next places for a test. And as such, they'd be weigh heavily when it came to a consideration of where support and resistance truly rests. And if price action tests one place and passes, then it likely goes and tests the equivalent on the other side of the trend until such times as the trend is established, which we identified earlier as not being the case since August of October last year, though it has felt like things have been horrific. Okay, so that's a quick look around the markets, and we're also going to have a quick look for shorted then at NVOS. Possible entry at 0.1 with a target of 1.8 was the take from shorted then. So if we start on the weekly time frame, get a picture of this thing, absolutely brutal. You have to have a real reason to trade it, but that's a percentage move, not all that. It's quite attractive there. I don't know about the trend or the chart, but there's a percentage move suggestion. As you can see, a lot of important volume. If it's to break below 0.13 again, having put in an open and a close previously. Hi, McMuntilia. McMuntilia, sir. The knight of the hexagonal table. Hello, Lord McMuntilia. Great to see you. Yesterday was so fun. Thanks. Celebrate the first super chat from McMuntilia. That's a celebrate, everybody. I've seen your name before, but might have been on the memberships and whatnot, sir. McMuntilia. So great to see you. I don't know why it says celebrate the first one, but let's celebrate it, folks. Totally celebrate. Yes. Yesterday was brilliant. Also got a message from Phil at the end. Don't know if I managed to catch that on stream. Can't thank you enough for all you do. Happy Tradespotting Appreciation Day. That's what McMuntilia is talking about when he says yesterday. So if you weren't there, you also missed it. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Thanks for everybody who's helped yesterday. It was a great show. Watching it back and I was thinking, Dad, this is brilliant. This is the crazy show. Great fun. Brilliant tunes at the start. Wow, it was good, eh? I had a great time. Thanks. And all the positive messages people were putting in. It's great to see. So, where was I thinking about? What was I talking about? NVOS. Yes. Oh, shorted then. I was thinking about this thing. 4 hour time frame. Just the breakdown. Be interesting. Made it to a 50% retracement and got a rejection at that stage, really. So, it doesn't look bullish. If you're relying on this as a bottom information, wouldn't be too confident about that. Volatility is picking up, coming out of the bearish control zone. Bullish divergence, sure. 3-day time frame. Why am I up here? Daily. 1, 2. Off of the back of this, sure. Break 0.39. There's 100% trade in that gap. So that's a big opportunity if it breaks back above 0.37, is it? To head towards 0.63. It looks like a big opportunity if you could catch that. A trade that you then follow, if it comes before that particular opportunity presents itself, you'd be following it towards those levels with a lot of attention at 0.37. Should it break above it, it would probably be a take profit target, at least one, if you were even following it in profit. Breaking above 50 simple, maybe an early indication that was happening because it's also on that daily time frame and around the previous resistance. But I'm not seeing anything great about this. It's come out of the bearish control zone, so maybe that's your idea for taking an entry. That's the daily time frame. It's not at a particularly fantastic level based on it's right in the middle of your target and entry suggestion. If you're coming back down again, you're defeating this previous level, the idea might be you might test all the way down back at 1.0. I mean, you'd have to give me a reason to trade this. At the minute, it's just not doing it for me. And sure, you might have like a type profit and a target, but sorry, a entry and a target, but I didn't see a stop loss or a reason for a trade. And there's an obvious opportunity somewhere else. So I'm just going to skip the rest of NVOS sorted then. Then look at FAMI. This was a minute talking about this guy early on there before the show was starting. RSI bullish control zone. Now that's a lot more interesting, even though this has been on a similar horrible downtrend. At least it's bullish on a significant time frame. Not here on the weekly. That looks like continuation divergence. It's not yet back above center line. That limits the crazy awesome moves from here, perhaps. The bullish divergence there, sending it back. A little bit of a move post-market down. Well, this thing, I do like aspects to it, but for that 3-day 50 simple open and close above that, maybe you'll test back at 1.2 those levels. What's the high there? 1.2. That sort of area would be the next area to aim for if this was support at 0.78, but you've not confirmed that yet on any of these time frames. Daily, you've got the 200 period moving average coming in at 1. So FAMI 1 would be a strong level of psychological resistance. Aiming for above that from here is very tough. Though you did call this earlier, so, in terms of having made a good shout, I'd suggest that you already did that. You've got a little bit of bearish divergence here. If it slips out the bullish control zone, probably test the center line on the 1 hour time frame. If that also coincides with break of the 50 simple at 0.69, you probably come down and test 200, and that's a big percentage chunk down. 30-minute time frame, there's like, that's dodgy. That's starting at 0.43. Yeah, so bearish divergence, slipping out the bullish control zone here. If it breaks the center line, it'd be on for tested the 200 at 0.6058. And if it starts trending to the bottom, you'd be looking at a target of 0.43. It wouldn't be too excited about that until then. Then HEXO also made huge moves since your call, so good shout on that thing. Tested the previous low there and then moved straight up again. Weekly, again, this thing's brutal, absolutely awful. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Had a reaction from this low, not managed to get out of the bearish control zone on the weekly. Daily time frame, 50 simple, providing resistance at below the 200, volatility picking up. You've covered back above the center line RSI, but failed to break above resistance or any important technical artifact there on the daily. I'd suggest that looks like continuation divergence on the MACD, so the volatility being retest of these lows. Potentially there's the 200 period moving average at 0.2. Or sorry, 2.0, 2.095. It's not even that hard, Tradespotting. What's wrong with you? And there's the 50 simple also pointing to the top side and price action on this little leg. Perhaps bullish. I suppose you are targeting there at 886 then from this area here. Maybe you're looking at the breakdown, let's be fair about it. Yeah, 886, 200 period moving average, and then rocky at Crab Flash. So you're looking at this thing hitting 2. Currently at 1.65. The best place to take it from would be not like 1.1.25 to, that would be a big percentage chunk more chocolate on your biscuit. It's already tested that gap once. So I suppose in terms of the trade Minner's talking about, then there's still a little bit on that thing. In terms of risk, you'd probably drop down then. 1 hour time frame. Also got the flash it there. That looks good. Follow that 50 simple. Pretty good trade. Break the 50, hit a test of 200 at 1.32. Also pretty good trade. Immediately manage your risk, because if it doesn't hold there, you'll get it in at around, you know, don't get it at 1.3, you 1.3. What's wrong with me? Then it'll go down to, you know, another 15 cents. That doesn't hold, you'll get it at 0.91. Bounce from that area to target 2, very possible as well, depending on what it's been doing in the meantime as the breakdown has zero. So that's what I'd be looking at. Very positive on HEXO for continuation there. And then CENN, you're right, also up a huge chunk since you talked about it, and then a little bit left, 0.91, maybe the target on this guy. Obviously, that's like long-term big difference from previous moves. We have talked about this guy recently since the low. Recovering 236, that was the best. 0.48 was the entry at 0.62. Now that's good. Pesting above 382 in previous golden pocket. That's perhaps target 1 if you did come back down again. 236 and in or around 0.45 might be the next entry if that doesn't hold the test of the prior low at 0.27. Huge chunk off. But if it does move to the top side, you're aiming for 0.9 or 1 golden pocket retracement, which stage 50 simple on the weekly would probably be there. Daily time frame. If you can bake, if you can, you're here doing very well. You managed to break above 0.9 and 1. You will test 1.4 and this 200 period moving average at 1.2 along the way. That's very positive. So looks like there's a lot left potentially on CENN if it has bottomed. Notice you said there's been a bottom. If that's true, I suppose you would say this is a low. Maybe not a bottom, but definitely a low. There's been a low, having factoring in this high to this oscillation. We have recovered so much so that we can say this is one local low. If it's a bottom, that's a different question. Certainly is new lows on this thing. So that's very positive. That was the ones that we got in before the show. Was asking if anybody had anything they'd want me to look at, just at me. Didn't have to donate. Happy to look at things for folks. And thank you very much, Mick Montlier. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. And for reminding me of how nice yesterday was. Thanks everybody then too. Brilliant. $4D. Minner, you got too many. You can't have another one. Thank you. Low is what I was looking for. A local low as well, eh? Take it one step further. Wait, please. I will wait. Don't donate, Jackie. You don't need to if that's what you're about to do there. Minnie, to $5. Thank you, Jamie. You're welcome, Minnie. Thank you so much. Appreciate, eh? Cheers, Manny. Thanks. Hello, good to see you, Texan. Yes, darn tootin'. Where are you? Good to see you. Where are you? Your blue name. There she is. Hit that like, y'all. See? Brilliant advice. Also, take that advice. I should have been talking about the bad mudders and the Bitcoin and the credit to Jen for solving them, especially when we get up to 29, you know. Especially when we get up to 29 Bitcoin futures chart. I don't know if Jen's even, even trading this, but she's sorting out everybody. Eh? Brilliant. We get there. Boom. High five. Remember who to thank. Jen. I'm not a cat. How you doing? They're bum. GMGMF. Yeah, I know all about graphene manufacturing. Bullish divergence is the delta to 169. Okay, they're bum. You like these guys, do you? We've got a video on just these guys, I think. As far as I can remember, we did one on them. There was a fax request. Maybe it was yourself, eh? Was it? I don't have anything on this particular chart in terms of drawings, though. That flash is good, huh? So we're starting a weekly, which is already you can see there on this. Not been around long enough for that. So graphene, this is like similar at the minute to, say, for example, semiconductor industry, where a lot of the business development is driven by like long cycle R&D, which requires institutional investment. And if you were to look at these sectors at the minute, you'd see that on balance institutions are short on them. So, you know, that's worth pointing out. And then, you know, it's a little bit added value there because it's Mr. Sputter. Right, so along came Spar on the daily time frame. There wasn't enough data on the 4 hour to likewise. On the 2 hour, there's a flash at 1.93 and it's currently at 1.83. There's not a really clear area to manage the risk. A 2 hour time frame, 50 simple. 1 hour, there's also a flash at 1.8. 1.852, which is above. So it probably goes there and then onto the 1.9 flash, which is a chunk of change, you know? And you can manage your risk with a very simple at 1.78. Target that flash at 1.93. Currently at 1.83. I mean, it's a bit much. Risk and reward's not very good there, but like it's a flash and it wouldn't be breaking the trend to test that high. So I mean, what's the trade you were talking? Stuff. Tabam. Yes, a month ago. It was Tabam. Wow, interesting stuff. Pin corrector, you denied. You big idiot. What do you like? Thanks so much. What did you say there about this thing? Graphene has dual divergence on the daily, flash above on the weekly, and to flash above on the weekly. Entered at 169. Cool. Good entry, Durbam. Flash into Wakala. Oh, this is back at the entry you're talking about on this thing, is it? Dum 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 dum. Oh, you're using it like wrong. So I'm not even going to like pay attention to your take on the flash there, sir. You know why. Legend, but no, do you know why, right? So bullish divergence on the daily time frame, that's what you're going on. Bullish divergence. This thing hasn't got a trend, so I don't care about the divergence, and like it's not doing all that very much, so that's not a reason. So I'm sorry, but that's not good enough reason. The thing I talked about also isn't, but it's a logic based on probabilities. Could have a look at IWM. Looking to short it at its current current price. Stop loss at $192, slightly above the macro 236. Here you're saying silly things now. Macro 236 of the trend. 175p. March expiry, aim for $175. Well, let's just turn on IWM. Because that's like asking me specifically about asking about a real obvious contract and trade, right? So that'd be financial advice, Jackie. And you know yourself, like stop, entry, take profit, reasons for the trade, right? Time frame you're looking at. That's the format, not telling me your actual freaking trade, the actual contract. Like I have to explicitly ignore that. So what we're looking at here, right, it sounds really critic, doesn't it? Well, I mean, the tone was, pardon me, Jackie's legend, right? So that's why I'm able to say that. Right, so, hi, how you talking about breakdown? Well, it'd need to break 191. That would be it. It did that. Good for you there. Stop loss at 192. Great, that makes sense because it'd be back above the area and it needed to be below. Makes sense. Slightly above macro 236. That sentence is true there. I mean, macro 236. Like the only valid recent one that's on the weekly time frame there, for sure. Of the trend, well, I mean, trend would come with a series of higher lows and confirmation. This has only got a low, a high, and that's it so far. It's not really got a secure high, low, high, unless you're saying low, high, and like, where's the higher low then to confirm it? Because you need a high and then a higher high, or a low and then a higher low, just to confirm one side of it. You need 4 to do both sides of it, and you've not got that here, and it's a weekly time frame. So that's just me critiquing your message to help you when you articulate those things, not because you want to sound like you're saying the right thing, but just so you understand what it is you're doing, because every action has a purpose, and I know you're on those lines, right? So this is all very positive, even though it might not sound it based on my tone, but like, get over that, all the people listening along. Jackie knows what's going on, right? So the macro 236, right? That's what you meant, the 236 on the weekly, and aiming for 175, right? So you're talking about a breakdown, entry 100 and around here, stop loss just above it, aiming for, right? So I can just draw that so that I can make sense to everyone. This is where Jackie's talking about entering. This is where he doesn't want it anymore, and his target is 175, which is down at the 200 period moving average. Yeah. Okay, that would be, it's just putting in a slightly higher high on this edge, perhaps on that weekly. This would be the trend you're talking about here, this part of it. So that's that, rather than this whole thing here being a trend. And then that would be a higher low. So you're shorting something in this bullish, a little bit of bullishness. You're going for a short trade, right? That's like, this is a little bit bullish right now. It's broken above this prior high, potentially. It's a wick high, certainly. It's also back above a 50 simple, which itself is above a 200 period moving average on the weekly. So I'd be a little bit cautious of what you're trying to do, simply because of the orientation of price action and the question is the trend. So, you know, that maybe would even disqualify me from even taking that, right? So then down to the, where's your flashes at 175? Well, that's like now back giving you a real reason. 50 simples below the 200 on the 3-day. Maybe the trend has changed. You've got a flash there at 188.9. So it's going to move up a little bit. Give you a test of that 200 at maybe 196. Prior high in the formation, which you could test to be 201. I mean, you want to be looking for a trade that gives you an entry around 200, which if it gets to psychological number, could easily test 210. So I'd be looking for not a short entry until this thing was making conclusive moves to the bottom, or it was being rejected from the 200 period moving average, at which stage that would potentially be a lower high. A confirmation would come when it made a significant retrace back against the most recent low. That's being generous, as we're using a speculative fib and talking about in future in a crazy ass sheet. Maybe it breaks back below 190, at which point it's having failed to break above 196 and then losing 190. Maybe then, and this is a reality that doesn't exist right now, so very theoretical, maybe then that would be an interesting trade. But at the minute, I wouldn't take it. I'd be disqualified and not even got down to daily time frame where nope. And then 4 hour, you've got your flash at 175. There's where you're aiming for. There's your previous inflection point. You've got to here and push slightly back above. So yeah, break back below 185, target 175. At which point you'd have your stop at 185. So right, a much tighter risk reward. And that's that's a better trade on that. And when it's moving through that at pace, having faced a previous rejection. And if those circumstances don't come true, trade something with circumstances that exist right now and a trend that's in your favor right now in the direction of the trade and signals that are bullish for a bullish trade in the bullish circumstances, or bearish signals about bearish trades in bearish circumstances. That would increase your probability of being right and your level of success over time, exponentially changing your trajectory, which will make it so that the longer you're in the game, the more successful you are. And then really putting your determination and resilience and that factor of resolve that you've got so strong, Jackie, to good use by making those tiny trajectory changes, by orientating yourself with the market And so that is one of the ways in which a trend will become an even better friend to you. So like that's really good coaching for you there specifically. So that's it. Well worth $5, but you didn't have to donate. Thanks very much. Appreciate it, Jackie, the orchestrator of yesterday's great Tradespotting Appreciation Day, Wednesdays from now on. So yes, that's what we're thinking on those things. Less drawings today. Lots of interesting information, hopefully helpful. Really appreciate the donations from Minnie, McMunta, and Paint Corrector. Jackie, thanks very much. If you were gifted a membership yesterday, there's loads of member videos you can watch. Loads of them. They're really helpful. Some of them, you know, really good trading strategies in there. Valuable things. Hopefully you can make the most out of them if you make the most of your membership. And if you enjoy it, think about renewing when it gets up, or gifting someone else one at some point in future if you benefit, they're well likely to. And the course, which can teach you to know all of these things, like more and more, learn more and more. It's only going to help you. Invest in yourself. It's the best place to put your money. I see. So now I see it. The flash at the beginning of the chart. So not correct to use. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you got it. Good spot. Good timing too. So great. Great to see you, Bob. Great to see everybody here. Thanks so much. Bing Bong, president of Tradespotting Fan Club. Walking, talking legend. So that's the show, right? Take the course, www.technicalanalysis.school. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Invest in yourself, right? You know, people make trades thinking that what they want has some contribution to what's going to happen. That doesn't work in trading, you know, but it does work with this course. You want to get better at trading, this is a product that makes that happen, right? Trades don't necessarily go your way, but you can reduce your risk and make the most of the opportunities available. You get used to the charts. You don't have to take the course. You can learn here bit by bit. But if you really want to do this for a living, then I suggest that the course would be the very least you'd need to do, and very good first step. So think about it. And then slightly lower barrier to entry in terms of cost is the Discord, which is like loads of people who are doing the course and trying to help each other all the time. So if you're like looking for a good way in, it's the Discord, and it's even got a free side, which you can get to from www.discord.gg/RockyAircrop, and you get into the free side. Loads of interesting information there. People trying to help people, lieutenants of Rocky and ours, and this quest we have to make a real difference in the world. And those people, thanks very much for everything you do. I hope your painting is going well, Jimmy. Yeah, well, I finished most of it. Jeepers creepers now. It's just back to the other things. One room at a time. That's it. One room at a time. One job at a time. One little rock at a time. Shout out, like a cat. Thanks very much, everybody. See you for splashing tomorrow, hopefully. Take care. Use stop losses. Be careful. You can always get in touch with me on Discord if you need any help, and if you feel like you're going into some emotional swing rather than an actual trade, make sure you look for help. I'll be there. So lots of other people. Yo, Flip Flapulous. Yo, thanks very much, everybody. Tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Hit the like button. Yeah, hit the like button for sure. Share it if you want, but definitely hit the like button. See ya.